The Terror of Black Hollow Road. Black Hollow Road is a desolate path cutting through a dense forest on the outskirts of a small, forgotten town. Locals whisper about the road's dark past, claiming it's cursed. Long ago, during the 1800s, this road was a path for traders, but a series of mysterious disappearances led people to avoid it. Over time, it became abandoned, left to the wilds and legends. Late one October night, a young woman named Clara, a photographer working for a travel magazine, found herself lost. Her GPS had malfunctioned, and the road signs were barely visible in the fog. She decided to take the only road her map indicated, Black Hollow Road. As Clara drove down the road, the forest seemed to close in around her. The trees were unnaturally tall, their branches intertwining like skeletal fingers. The sound of her car's tires crunching the gravel was the only noise, but even that seemed muffled. Suddenly, her car headlights flickered, and the engine sputtered before dying. The silence was oppressive, broken only by the faint rustle of leaves. Clara stepped out of the car, her flashlight in hand, to inspect the vehicle, but the air felt heavy, almost as if it were alive, watching her every move. While checking under the hood, she noticed something strange. A series of footprints leading from the road into the forest. They were large, uneven, and seemed to have claw-like indentations. A shiver ran down her spine as she realized the footprints didn't lead back out. Then she heard it. A low, guttural growl, distant yet bone-chilling. She swung her flashlight toward the sound but saw nothing. The forest was unnaturally dark, as if the light itself was swallowed by the shadows. Deciding to call for help, Clara returned to her car, only to find her phone missing. She was sure she had left it on the dashboard. Panic began to set in as she searched frantically. But her efforts were interrupted by a loud thud on the roof of the car. She froze. The sound repeated, slow and deliberate, as if something, or someone, was testing the car's strength. Gathering her courage, Clara leaned out of the car and shone her flashlight upward. A face stared back at her. It was pale, with hollow eyes and a wide, toothy grin. The figure, humanoid but grotesque, crouched on the roof, its long fingers clawing at the metal. Clara screamed and stumbled backward, dropping the flashlight. The creature leaped from the roof and landed with an unnatural grace. Its movements were jerky, almost like a puppet controlled by invisible strings. Clara ran, the forest swallowing her screams as she plunged into the darkness. The path ahead seemed endless, and the fog grew thicker. Every time she glanced back, the creature was there, its twisted form lurching closer. Suddenly, she tripped over a root and tumbled into a clearing. In the center of the clearing stood a decayed, abandoned cabin. Desperate for safety, Clara rushed inside and barricaded the door. The air inside was stale, and the walls were lined with strange symbols carved into the wood. On the floor lay a journal, its pages filled with frantic scribbles about the road, the creature, and a curse. The journal revealed the truth. The creature was the spirit of a trader who had been betrayed and murdered by his companions. His restless soul had transformed into a vengeful entity. bound to the road until someone could offer him peace. As Clara read, the creature's growls grew louder, and the door began to splinter under its weight. Thinking quickly, she flipped to the final page, which described a ritual to appease the spirit. She needed to speak the trader's name, which was hidden in the symbols around the cabin. As the door burst open and the creature lunged, Clara screamed the name written in the journal, Elias Moorcroft. The creature froze mid-air, its form flickering like a dying flame. A look of sorrow replaced its twisted grin, and it let out a mournful wail before disintegrating into ash. The oppressive atmosphere lifted, and the forest seemed to breathe again. Clara, shaken but alive, stumbled back to her car. The engine started without issue, as if the road itself had released her. She sped away, vowing never to return. Black Hollow Road remains a place of fear and mystery. Clara's story spread, but many dismissed it as fiction. Yet those brave, or foolish, enough to venture down the road often report hearing faint growls and seeing glowing eyes in the darkness. The legend of Black Hollow Road endures. A chilling reminder of what happens when the past refuses to rest. Thank you for watching Sea Story till the end. We truly appreciate your support. If you have any feedback regarding the narration, video editing, or background music, please let us know in the comments section. Also, if you have any personal stories or experiences you'd like to share, feel free to send them to us. We'll do our best to feature your story in our upcoming videos. Stay tuned for more captivating tales.